Hello, this is Mehrdad Hariri, CEO and President, Canadian Science Policy Centre, and we are at the 15th Canadian Science Policy Conference in Ottawa, November 14, 2023. I am very pleased here today to have Dr. Panchanathan with us from the United States. He is the Director of the National Science Foundation in the United States. It's a huge pleasure and honor for us, for CSPC, to host Dr. Panch here in Ottawa. Welcome to Canada, welcome to Ottawa.
Thank you, President Hariri. It's truly a delight to be with you.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. I know you are not a stranger to Ottawa. You have studied, you got your PhD here and some trainings. Do you want to talk about that a little bit in a minute?
Sure. Ottawa has a special place in my heart for several reasons. First, it gave me the opportunity to start my academic journey in doing my doctoral program in electrical computer engineering at the University of Ottawa. So I came searching for an amazing mentor in Dr. Morris Goldberg, and because his work and mine sort of aligned, and so when I got the chance to work with him for my PhD, that was a dream come true for me. And the University of Ottawa gave me several things for which I'm most grateful for. But then I also found my wife here. She's Canadian. We had our 2 children here. I was a faculty member at the University of Ottawa for 8 years. So overall, Ottawa is a place that gave us our start.
That's wonderful. So that's a wonderful connection with Canada. So as part of that, let me ask my first question about the relationship between Canada and the United States. So you have been here, you did your training here. You have also a very close relationship with the decision maker of science enterprises in Canada. I want to ask you, how do Canada and the United States complement each other to advance innovation and scientific research, in your opinion?
I think, every nation picks those things that they are really good at in terms of the context, in terms of the expertise that they have put together, in terms of the ecosystems that they've evolved over time. So you then look at that and see how we can bring all of those pieces together in any partnership for that matter. Partnership is about shared values and then bringing expertise, some of which might be overlapping, some of this might be very unique to each partner, right? So that's true of any partnership. And so in the US-Canada partnership, therefore, we have shared values. First, let's talk about democracies, right? We are 2 great democracies, right? And we believe in the fundamental core principles of democracy. And that brings us together naturally as partners, right? Yes, we are neighbors, and that makes it even more enriching as a partnership. But then we find that when we look at common problems, like whether it is climate change, whether it is, combating the COVID pandemic, whether it is looking at clean energy solutions, whether it is looking at smart city development, whether it is looking at new technologies like quantum, AI, and so on, we find that there is a lot of synergies, but at the same time, unique perspectives that the Canadian research community brings along with the US research community, and they supplement and complement. And it's really a synergistic, symbiotic relationship, which I think benefits both nations to a large extent. And of course, there is also the movement of talent back and forth, which is a good thing because we're able to then build even more stronger relationships. Now, let me talk about the NSERC leader, right? Alejandro Adam. He trained in the United States. He's now the head of NSERC. I trained here. I'm now the head of NSF. So clearly, you see the value in this, the back and forth between peoples of both nations, also enriching both nations.
Absolutely. So you mentioned about the transformation of science. So as you know, the theme of the conference this year is the science and innovation in a time of transformation. And as you know, we are facing so many uncertainties and transformation. I want to know how National Science Foundation addressing some of these challenges, especially the ones that are facing research community and research enterprises, such as AI, such as research security. How do you face these challenges at NSF?
Yeah, the way I look at it, Mehrdad, is that every challenge is an opportunity. At NSF, we look at every challenge and say, how do we convert that into opportunities that then address those challenges, head on, and see if we can find creative solutions and invest in the communities that are capable of coming up with these fantastic solutions, right? But even more importantly, I would say, NSF's investments, they make possible the amazing people, the people who have the ideas, the people who become the entrepreneurs, the people who become the folks that industry hires, the people who go into academia and become amazing researchers, continue to do amazing research. All of this is what NSF is really, really good at. Let's talk about AI. In the context of AI, NSF has been investing in AI or computing related activities for the last 5 or 6 decades. So what you see as AI today is sustained investments by NSF through many, many decades, even through, as I say, AI winters. We never backed off. And that's an important thing that you need to do. There are things that you invest in because it's not about just what is possible only today, but it's also what is going to be made possible tomorrow. And that you're willing to take high risks because high risks portend higher rewards. And so this is something that as an agency, that NSF culture is such that it is always investing in these high quality research ideas. Okay? But in the context of AI now, we have a tremendous focus. We spend about $800 million annually on AI related research activities. Just one exemplar activity that I will talk about is in the last 3 years, we have launched 25 AI institutes, which spans all across the nation. Right? More than 46, 47 states participating in that. If you look at AI investments as a whole, all states and territories are participating in that. Right? And so these 25 AI institutes are not only advancing the future of AI research, but also looking at what might AI do for various applications, whether it is agriculture, whether it is weather forecasting and climate, whether it is about learning, right? Whether it is about, one of the recent things that I find a lot of excitement is that, there's a AI institute that we funded in the last cycle, which is about how does AI assist speech pathologists to scale the services that we can provide for children who need help with speech and language therapy, right? It turns out there are 62,000 speech pathologists in the United States, but there are 3 million children who need the services. So how might you take these kinds of opportunities, challenges, as you identified, but make them into opportunities for seeing how humans and AI working together can unleash amazing possibilities and creative solutions. So on the AI front, that is something that I thought that will be useful as how we are approaching this. On the research security front, I always say that research security is about, first again, working together as nations, okay, who share values, core scientific values of openness, transparency, reciprocity, research integrity, respect for intellectual property, and a whole host of other values that brings us together as scientists and scientific enterprises, right? Then how do we ensure that we put policies and procedures in place such that people are taking advantage of the fundamental core values, but also making sure that they're expressing those values in the most appropriate manner. And that requires us not only to look at it as NSF, but NSF working in partnership with other agencies, particularly academia, because the work really happens in academia and other places that we invest in. So bring those partnerships to the discussion. And then working with partners across the globe, like Canada. So we are talking about how we might work together, how we might work together with countries like Sweden or Japan or India or other countries. How do we talk to them and find out what are the things that we all subscribe to and therefore we can work together on and build a robust research enterprise, right? Because science ideas are global. Science is global. And scientific expertise to solve grand challenges needs that global coming together, right? Which means that you need to facilitate the process, but you need to have a structure and a set of protocols. And that's what research security is all about in my view. Being mindful of ensuring that we are all able to work together and express these values in the fullest form.
So thank you for that answer. That's a very good segue to my next question, which I know you're a big fan of science diplomacy. Me too, by the way. I'm a big fan of science diplomacy. So, you mentioned about global collaboration. I want to ask you about the international collaboration in science. How do you see science as helping America in Canada, US, Mexico, and also the South America in advancing its diplomacy? Especially in case of United States as a country that you're representing. And in your view, what really impacts science diplomacy in the world that we live today?
No, first I think we should go back to the underlying principles, right? Science makes possible unbelievable prosperity. Let's not forget that. If you go back and look at the industries of today, the jobs of today, right? And the solutions that impact people's daily lives, whatever that might be, whether it's health, whether it's even getting to work, transportation, you pick anything you want. It's all about science and technology having an underpinning that makes this amazing progress possible and therefore prosperity possible. So if you take that perspective, right, and if you take any nation, which nation does not want to have prosperity and opportunity for all? Which means that the way you use science as a diplomatic element is to talk about what science makes possible and what science can make even more possible. Because we all know in all our nations, not every citizen does have the opportunities they truly deserve. And that's not an acceptable future for any nation, to leave our citizens behind. So how do we take that science as that underpinning to make possible opportunities for everyone, everywhere? And again, that is a common principle that brings us together. And therefore, it becomes a diplomatic tool. Yeah. So how do we talk about science is important. As much as the specific things that we do in terms of working on scientific projects and scientific solutions, science-based solutions for various challenges. So that's what I would say. Therefore, this is a very exciting moment that way. I find that all nations want to build a robust scientific enterprise. Head of the Office of International Science Engineering, Dr. Kendra Sharp, is here. So we constantly get requests from all nations to want to configure, and partner with NSF and other agencies in the United States to be able to express their scientific aspirations as well as make possible opportunities. So to me, therefore, this is a great moment for science to be able to be that unifying force, bringing people together and giving them hope and making sure everybody is able to get the opportunities they truly deserve.
That's wonderful. We're grateful that you're here at CSPC 2023. That's my last question. And so far, you have been very active in various panels, and we are so pleased to see that. As well, you are going to meet with the emerging scholars and some young scientists, postdocs, PhD trainees, and you have met as the CSPC community to some extent. I want to ask you your opinion, to the extent that you have experienced, of course. What's your opinion about the work that CSPC does, the conference itself, and the various activities that we do have, reports and parliamentarians, the magazine? What was your impression of these activities?
This is a fantastic conference. And I find that at 7:30 a.m., when you have a session and the huge hall is packed, that shows commitment. That shows engagement. That shows that this conference that is being put together, the work that you are doing, and with that I will tell you, you are a phenomenal leader.
Oh, thank you.
What you have assembled here is phenomenal. I'll tell you why. Because when I talk to the people who meet me and tell me how your program transformed their journey, their career journey, it is heartening to see. And so this is not just about only this conference, which is fantastic, as I said, the people who are attending this conference and their commitment, which is fantastic, but what is happening outside of this conference through your organization is making possible this opportunity that we talked about, the possibilities that President Biden talks about, which is real here, right? That is, you're making possibilities happen for people. You're giving them opportunities, and they're growing in your organization and then connecting up to the nation and national agencies like NSERC and others. Truly a phenomenal effort. And I think keep up the great work. And I think every nation, of course, in our nation, in the United States, we have similar enterprises and universities which do a phenomenal job, right? I have my head of our social behavioral economic sciences, Dr. Sylvia Butterfield here. We do a lot of these kinds of enablement through the work that we do with universities. So I think this is very important because it's I was saying in the conversation this morning, I find a lot of complainers, whiners, but I think we need optimists and we need people who are taking head on the challenges and solving them rather than complaining about the problems. Let's find solutions because nobody outside is going to find the solutions. We have to find the solutions. We have to configure ourselves and find the solutions. So this is a moment to do that, and your organization is making that possible for Canada, and I'm very happy about that. Congratulations.
Thank you so very much for your very kind words, Dr. Panch. I appreciate that. Since you had good experience at CSPC, I want to make sure you come back again next year, following year. So the invitation stands for you to come back CSPC 2024 and beyond. Very much looking forward to see you again in Canada.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you.